Oh, welcome all to the SnailTrail4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how fantastic 120 degrees are in Toyotas. That's not a measurement of angles, by the way. That's a temperature measurement. In case anybody was wondering, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler, and joining me for another episode of the SnailTrail4x4 is the one and only Jimmy Jet.
How's it going out there?
Me out there?
Silence.
Me, them.
Crickets.
All the people out there.
One.
Yeah, it was. How was your weekend?
The weekend was pretty good.
Yeah,
for the most part. It was hot and cold.
Yeah, we'll get into the. Wait, cold?
Yeah.
I was lucky.
Yeah.
Good job for you.
Thank you.
We'll get into those details in a little bit.
Yeah, we got a freezer.
One that you can get in, like a walk-in?
Yeah,
Christopher
almost.
walk-in?
It would be a very snug walk-in. Couldn't fit two people in it.
Oh, well, that's no fun then.
Yeah.
I want to go to an ice bar.
Okay. Iceland, here we come.
Iceland. Are there any in the Sacramento area?
I highly doubt it. You know, it's like 100 and some odd degrees outside.
I know, but that would be the business to own right now.
For real. It would.
Dude. So I've only been to one ice bar in my life, and it was in New Zealand.
Okay.
But it's amazing. You go in there and it's 5 degrees, right? It's a freezer.
Yes.
All your glasses and your drink glasses are made out of ice.
Right.
So they're formed out of ice. So when you're done with your drink, you throw the ice on the ground. And then you're only in there for, I think they only allow people in there 20, 30 minutes at a time.
Okay.
Because it is so cold, and you wear these big-ass parkas as well. But once they rotate you out, before they bring the next group in, they sweep the floor.
Oh.
So they just take all the ice chunks that everybody broke in there, sweep the floor out, and then...
Yep. How long do the bartenders and
I think they rotate at the same time as well.
They rotate out as well?
Yeah.
So you come in shifts, and that's just a new shift every time?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I've only done, what are they, a luge, a ski luge, a shot luge.
A luge? Like the luge? Like you're on a board running down a hill in a very tight ice channel?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
But it's a big ice block, and then they carve a channel in it, and then they pour the alcohol at the top, and then the alcohol runs down the luge, and then falls into your mouth.
Okay. Gotcha. I thought you were like saying I've just done a luge before, and I'm like,
no,
wow, that's impressive. I don't know.
I wanted to get on one of those luges.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I have so we'll start an ice bar in Sacramento.
Okay. Sounds
and
good.
And then we can do ice axe throwing as well.
Out of ice picks?
Something. I don't know. We'll just be in a freezer, a giant walk-in freezer, doing axe throwing while drinking.
Yeah.
I think that's the business to have right now.
Every time I drive here, I look at the old Fry's building.
Yeah, yeah.
And I go,
so much
MORRFlate
potential.
needs to get that.
Someone needs to do something fun with that building. I mean,
now we have the idea. You can run MORRFlate out of half of it, and you can have an ice bar on the other half.
Yeah.
And then you have an ice bar, and then you have a Flamin' Hot Wings stop right next to each other.
Yeah, that building's big enough where I wonder how big of a walk-in freezer you could really build. I mean, I guess you could build as big as a walk-in freezer as you want, right?
It's as big as the electricity bill you want to pay.
Yeah. Huh. But if you could set up like 4 freezer bars in there and rotate people through.
Yep.
And then also have a wings lounge for like people if they wanted to stay for like 2 hours or something.
Yeah.
And they can rotate
an
out.
Ice skating rink.
And an ice skating rink, and then MORRFlate done out of the back.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how much that building costs.
Yeah. I have other ideas, which I'll talk to you off air, because I have thought about it a bunch of times driving past that building.
Oh, man.
How much longer you got on this place?
I don't, 4 years.
Oh.
So.
All right. Well, if it's still available in 4 years, then we might revisit this conversation.
Based on its current time frame of availability, I think it would be, but we'll see. Anyways, we're doing an off-road podcast here.
Yes, we are.
So hopefully everybody is enjoying their week. This is a Thursday episode.
Yeah, it's cooled down a little bit here in the western states, and
we're past the major heat wave.
Yep, and hopefully all our friends out in Texas area are safe.
Yeah, I mean, Texans typically aren't safe to begin with.
No.
So,
did you hear it was like 2.3 million people without power?
Oh my God.
And
wow.
whoever one of the guys on the news was like, we're working as fast as we can, but you just got to deal with us. You know, there's a lot of chaos out there right now, and we're trying to sift through it all. Like, man, Texas is on its own grid.
I was going to say, Texas is on its own. There's no way to connect other grids to have emergency power in Texas.
Nope.
Yeah, that's
which is the same problem they had. They had a freezing storm, and it knocked out a bunch of power.
I remember that one.
And didn't they have a really bad heat wave, and they couldn't fulfill power for everybody, so they were rotating
that was
powers
another
also?
issue, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Texas. Not that, I mean, here in California, we have the heat problem.
Yeah.
And they all do rolling blackouts.
Yeah.
I haven't been in one yet.
Oh. I didn't have a rolling black. I think it was just more of a brownout, maybe.
Okay.
They didn't give any heads up of it happening, so I'm guessing it was an emergency thing that happened. But yeah, I lost power this weekend.
Oh man!
So we'll that was part of
our conversation.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we continue on with that, we have a few giveaways going on. We have the monthly giveaway, which is for an EVCX
from Ultimate 9.
EVCX Ultimate 9 throttle controller, which has fantastic reviews, has a whole bunch of different stages, is great for on and off-road use, and has a cool valet mode, which will not let
pedal lockout.
Yep, which is really cool. Not that I valet my truck that that often, but
you can put an off-road vehicle like into a valet mode or something for letting your kids go crawl it or something.
Yeah. Hey, go drive my truck. Oh, it doesn't go faster than 10. Yeah, I know. I dumbed it down for you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Smart.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of really cool features. It's a really nice packaging. It's amazing how many features are in that little module for how tiny it is. It's half the size of a matchbook. So it's
so small.
Yeah.
Can we get one? Can we show one?
I mean, there's some right out here. Let me go grab one.
Right. Let's show it on camera.
Yes. Okay. I went out and grabbed one of the EVCXs.
It even has an X on the bottom of the package.
Yeah. So there's an EVC and an EVCX, and the EVC is kind of your basic model, your standard model. That has a lot fewer features, but still way more features than Pedal Commander does. But that's the size of the modules on both of them. And then there's a wiring harness that goes and tucks in under your dashboard somewhere.
And it's just USB-C.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So pretty sweet. About the size half of a matchbook, maybe 60%, 70% of a matchbook.
It's slightly larger than I thought, but it is not as large as a normal matchbook.
Yeah. But
it's almost there, like maybe 80% of a matchbook. It's as thick as one, but it's not quite as big as one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so tiny, which it's unbelievable.
And so the EVCX has more features to it, and it's all Bluetooth controlled as well as your interface here on the module.
Okay, cool. And the EVC and the EVCX are the same size.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So cool.
Yeah. I've been very impressed since I started looking into throttle controllers. It seems like Ultimate 9 for value, packaging, and features.
Yeah.
They seem to be the top winners, in my opinion.
Okay.
So it's kind of neat that we had this opportunity that they weren't really in the United States yet. The Australian company having trouble getting sales channels in the United States. So we'll see what we can do with MORRFlate and getting them out into the world better. So,
cool.
Yeah.
That'll be a good challenge for you.
Yeah, should be fun.
So we've got a lucky winner. If you're a Snail Squad member, you're going to win one of these EVCXs from Ultimate 9. You'll be probably one of the first people in the United States to have one.
They are here in the United States.
Okay.
It's just the person that's running it he's not really doing anything.
Got it. Okay.
So, but yeah, you'll be probably one of the first ones to get one from MORRFlate. We're setting up the infrastructure we're setting up a few different sales channels. And so just getting all the infrastructure set up is taking a lot of time and resources.
Sure.
But once that's all set up, we'll have them available. We do have them in stock. We just don't have them up on the website or anywhere.
Yeah.
So if you wanted one, just give us a call and we can get you an order squared away for you manually over the phone. So,
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, so if you want one of those, if you want a chance to win one of those, you need to be a Snail Squad member. Go over to iRate4x4, sign up there if you're not already. Then go down to the watch list and discuss section, scroll, or just choose the top one. I mean, because it's the best one.
Yeah.
SnailTrail4x4.
Yep.
And then if you're on a PC, on the right side, there are the giveaway tier. There will be the giveaway tier. And then if you're on mobile, scroll all the way to the bottom, and the giveaway tier is available there.
That's it. That's how you do it.
Nice.
So sweet. That's the monthly giveaway for this month. Along with that, we still have kind of leftover stuff going on from Tool Month. We have the Walter National giveaway, which is go down to your local welding supply store, buy some drill bits, some consumables. There's grinders, flapper discs, and there will be specially marked cartons of whatever the consumable is with the contest to win an F-150 trimmer for a 2-year lease on that trimmer. So all the instructions are there. There's a QR code inside the carton somewhere, and you pull out that QR code, and it'll give you instructions on how to enter. And they are doing monthly stuff.
Yeah.
For a lot of other really fun prizes up until November. November is when they do the national drawing for the trimmer.
So the sooner you get in, the more opportunities you have to win. You can win an option or something monthly, and then you're always eligible for the grand prize of that F-150.
Yep.
So super cool stuff with that. Along with that, Walter giveaway or chance to win the trimmer, we're doing a sideshow thing with SnailTrail4x4.
Yeah.
And if you pretty much fulfill the requirements for the Walter giveaway, but just send us the additional information, you can send us a photo with a Walter product, Walter Drill Co. or Triumph. And then that gets you one entry, and if you send us the receipt of you purchasing one of their products, that gets you another entry. And then we're doing another giveaway as well in August.
Yep.
With the people that are entering for that.
Yeah, I think the end of August is when it closes, so we'll be doing it in September. Sure. We'll pulling a winner. So.
Yes. Semantics.
Yeah. You got to have semantics right on stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Legal stuff gets really finicky around contests and giveaways.
Well, geez, who's legally following us? If you're following us for legally stuff.
That's true. You're in the wrong podcast.
Bad spot.
Oh, man. So I think that does it for giveaway stuff.
Reviews.
Yeah, we got some set of tires to give away from Yokohama Tires. So and one more Onyx Elite membership. So all you got to do is go to Apple Podcasts and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Easy peasy, simple. And what happens is every 50 reviews, we kind of do a swag pack giveaway thing, and that's where the Onyx Elite membership comes in. So I think we're at, 650?
We just rolled over 650.
Yeah. So
we had 652 the last time we looked.
Gotcha. So the next giveaway is at 700 reviews, and that'll come with the Elite membership from Onyx, as well as some fun little swag packs, some other little goodies we have laying around. You might get an XJ in your order, just FYI.
Yep.
That little green dumpster next to it. Okay.
I follow you.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Kind of be sad to see it go, but yes.
I know, right? We label it an XJ for somebody. And then, we get to put together a little fun package for you guys at 700, and we'll pull a winner from those 700 reviews. So if you've already got a review in, congratulations. You have a chance of winning. If you want to put in multiple reviews, find a way to do that using other people's accounts, you increase your odds of winning by quite a bit, actually. So you just have to be able to prove that you have access to that account, and we can tell you how to do that once we have the winner chosen.
Yep.
And then at 750 reviews, we're giving away a full set of tires, which is pretty freaking awesome. Everybody needs tires. It's like one of the things we need on our vehicles to go off-roading. That's, I guess, a few things we need on vehicles to go off-roading, but you definitely need tires. So we got some really cool hookup with Yokohama. They're donating a set of tires, pretty much anything you want. Less than 20-inch rims and DOT approved compounds.
Yep. That's pretty awesome.
Which is quite a few different options. So
yeah, that's pretty rad.
Yeah, so that's the reviews. Giveaway for reviews. We did the monthly giveaway, the stuff with Walter going on. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. Lance, I have yet to get out your swag pack for $650. I will try to do that this week. That air hub is mine.
Correct.
That air hub
Is the strippers.
So I got to take that today.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, take almost this pile.
Almost. Sweet.
Grab that one. See ya. Peace.
Bye-bye. Yeah, so that I want to try one of those out too. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, at least we're going to be looking at signing up quite a few different ambassadors and influencers to test them out. That way we can start educating people about throttle controls in the off-road world. So we'll definitely make sure you're on that list.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Should we get on to what in the butt?
Sure.
Okay.
How's your butt? Okay. What's in your butt, Jimmy?
Some fecal matter.
Oh man. Yeah, it was a hot weekend here in NorCal. We just were kind of on the back end of the big heat wave. Last week, the Bronco was reading 119 and 120.
What?
Outside during the day.
At your house?
Yeah, but I think that was just kind of like parked. And so as I got in and I'm working my way out of the neighborhood, it got down to like 115.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Still a 115 is stupid.
So for Sacramento, 116 is the record.
Okay. Yeah.
And I did not hear discussion or talk about us tying the record or breaking the record. That's the all-time high.
Oh, the all-time high.
All-time high for Sacramento is 116.
I thought I saw something on the news of the all-time high was broken by a lot. Not the all-time. I think it was on the day.
It was the daily high.
The daily high was broken in like all around the state, all over the place by a big margin too.
Yeah, I forgot which day it was. But in Sacramento, that day's all-time high was 105, and they got up to like 111 that day.
Yeah, it was crazy. So there we are, breaking records all over the place. Sacramento.
Now, Redding did get up to 120.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Nuts. And I didn't hear anything about Death Valley, so I assume the hottest day ever recorded, which happened in Death Valley, didn't get broken also, because I would have heard something.
Well, you have your Google alerts set.
Yes.
So like if there's any temperature records ever set, cold or hot, you get alerts on it.
Pretty much.
So I would have thought you would hear about that one.
Yeah. So the all-time world record highest temperature was not broken. But yeah.
Come on, guys, we can do better than this.
I know, right?
We can break this record.
Yeah, nuts. But yeah, there were some daily records broken for sure. Sacramento's up there, depending on today, when we're recording this Tuesday. If today is another 100-degree day, because it's right around, it's like 98 to 101 range where it could be. If today's gets over 100, we're in the running for the longest stretch of 100-degree days ever for Sacramento also.
Okay.
And it's so funny around the house, because I'm always like, if there's a record to be set, I'm like, yeah,
let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm on. Like, I'm part of this. Like, I don't care how hot it is right now, because if we have a chance to live through a record being set, forever, possibly, I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So I've already lived through the hottest day ever in Sacramento, which was only like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
116. And I don't remember when the longest stretch was, but it wasn't too long ago. I think I've lived through that.
It was within the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they said it again, I'm like, yep, I'm in. Yeah. Let's do it. So we'll see if today gets to 100. It's projected for and all these are for Sacramento, because different places are different temperatures, right? So anyways, so if Sacramento gets up to over 100 today, I think we have a good chance of breaking that record.
Nice.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. One thing
you need to make sure that at your funeral, whoever's doing your eulogy mentions all these records that you're part of.
That I've been a part of.
Yeah,
I think I'm in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Really? For what?
Oh, you're gonna laugh so hard.
Biggest third testicle?
Well, I was part of a century run.
A century? That's a 100-mile run?
Sorry, a centipede run. Excuse me.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
A
I
centipede
knew you were
run?
gonna go. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Okay.
Not a human centipede thing. Well, it kind of was. But.
I'm like, how do you do a centipede run without
So
being a
you're
human centipede?
tethered to each other,
Okay.
like with a bungee sort of thing, and then you run a race. But so I was doing. It was the Beta Breakers,
Okay.
and I was. They pretty much. We were there just for fun, but then they enlisted us to be a part of this to help try and break the world record. And you have to be. It was the most people tethered together to do a race.
Okay.
But you only had to run like the first 100 yards.
Oh.
And then you didn't have to be tethered anymore. So if I've never actually gone to look to see if we broke the record, but if the Beta Breakers in like 2013 is the largest centipede race, then I was a part of that.
Nice.
So you can write that one on my eulogy list
There you go.
too.
They didn't keep track of all the people a part of that, like names or record of it?
No, they only counted. They put the name for the organizer.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
Organization.
The organization person that organized the centipede race gets their name in there, and then it says how many participants, I believe.
How many? Do you know what that number was, or no?
No.
You're like, I'm just here to drink and run.
Yep.
Tie me to somebody.
I
We're
mean,
good.
103 yards down the race is the first bar.
Yeah.
Is always serving Bloody Marys, and yeah, it's something like I think it's 10K.
Okay.
And there's I don't know how many bars along the route. So
Nice.
I've never finished.
Yeah.
I've
Okay.
actually never finished the race.
Nice.
I've done it 3 times. And yeah, never finished.
That's fine.
But I always end up at Golden Gate Park, and then I just stop and hang out there and just relax and party.
Okay.
So.
All right. Maybe we need to try and put together a longest off-road centipede race. And we'll take people across the Rubicon
You're
tied
all kinetic strapped together.
Yeah.
We're all going up little sloughs.
Yep.
That could be kind of fun. Just don't drive over straps.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Man, what were we doing? We were talking
about how hot it was.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was hot. It was very hot here. So over the week, it wasn't too bad. I was actually impressed. I didn't hear too many issues with the power grid going out. But I ended up losing power on Saturday.
Ouch.
Which was kind of at the tail end of the heat wave, right?
Okay.
And so I'm right on the river's levee system. So there's different sensors and stuff in the levees to make sure that they can monitor the levees remotely. So I'm on kind of a primary high priority power grid. So I very rarely lose power. When I lose power, it comes back pretty quick.
Okay.
So
makes sense.
I had been having an issue in one of the circuits in my house. The breaker was half tripping.
Oh.
And so what happens when your breakers in your house, if there's a big overload on the circuit, the breaker trips, right? Full trip.
Right.
And it's very easy to tell. You go out, look at your panel, you're like, oh, that switch is all the way over from the direction all the other switches are at.
Right.
And so you just flip it back on, you got power back to your circuit. When it half trips, it doesn't fully pop all the way over. It doesn't fully click like it's disengaging. It kind of goes halfway on the switch, and it's hard to see visually that it tripped sometimes. So it kind of throws people off because you're like, oh, none of my breakers are tripped.
Yeah, it's not all the way on the other side.
Yeah.
It's only slightly moved.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's hard to tell sometimes. And so one of my breakers in my circuits in my house had been doing that for a while. And I was like, well, that just means the breaker's going out. Okay. It's kind of like a warning, right? You're approaching say you have a 15 amp circuit breaker.
Yeah.
And it could be doing half tripping at like 12 to 13 amps. It just means that the switch and the mechanism in the breaker is starting to go out.
Okay.
So it's not able to hold the full 15 amp load before it trips on you.
Sure.
And so that just means you need to swap the breaker out.
Yeah. Put a 20 in.
Put a 25 in, even better. Don't do that, people. And so I've been wanting to swap that out for a while, but I was like, I got to kill all the power to the house to do it. And it only takes 2 minutes to do, but I was just being lazy.
Sure.
So now with the power out, I was like, great opportunity.
Now's the time to do it.
Let's do it.
Unless the power comes on right there.
Yep. So we packed up the kid and took a Home Depot trip.
Nice.
Field trip for the day. And went in, got some breakers, got down the breaker aisle, and realized I forgot to look to see what style breaker it was.
Bummer.
That, and we had asked somebody to come and meet us at the electrical aisle on our way in the store. Last time I was in Home Depot, I forgot to tell this story. I was in Home Depot getting a pole for the antenna tower that I worked on last time.
Yeah.
To build a mast out of the pole, right?
Sure.
And so I needed a pole with a 2-inch NPT threading on it.
Wow. Okay.
So I went into Home Depot. They had it. I was like, awesome. But it was 10 feet long. So I only needed like 4 or 6 feet, somewhere around there. So we cut it into 2 sections. I wanted to cut it 4 and 6. They have a pipe cutter there, so you can cut pipe and have it cut to length, whatever you need. And so we sat around in the aisle for about 10 minutes waiting for an employee to walk by so we could grab him and be like, hey, could we get some help on the pipe cutter?
Yeah.
And so finally I had to go find somebody, and they're like, okay, yeah, we'll call him. 10 minutes later, nobody shows up. So I go find somebody else. Hey, can we get somebody down the pipe aisle? Oh yeah, let me call him. Another 10 minutes goes by and nobody shows up still. So now we're in there waiting for 30 minutes
Right.
to get this fucking pipe cut. And so I finally go up to an employee. I was like, hey, I haven't talked to you yet, and I'm going to sound like a dick right now, and I apologize. But if you don't get an employee down this aisle in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to go buy a reciprocating saw, cut the pipe myself, and then return the saw to you. And he kind of looked at me like I was an asshole. And I was like, I'm sorry, you guys, I'm not going to sit here another half an hour waiting for somebody to come here. Like, where's the person? They're like, let me look into it. And so he actually did look into it and followed through. And he goes, oh yeah, that person's on their lunch break. And I was like, it would have been nice to know.
Can somebody else do this?
Can somebody else do this, please? They're like, no, there's only a certain number of people trained for the pipe cutter. And I was like, okay, well, do you want me to go buy a Sawzall right now and just cut it myself and then go? Or do you know the code to turn on the electrical to the pipe cutter? I know how to use this machine. I can do it. I just need the code to turn it on. And they're like, no, we can't let you do that. And I was like, of course. And they're like, no, let me go check. And I was like, I'm literally, if you tell me that he's still on lunch, I'm going to buy a Sawzall. I'm just going to do it. Mm-hmm. And he kind of looked at me and goes, okay, let me see what I can do. And so he comes back, and there's 2 guys that are trained on this thing. Only one of them was on lunch.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know what the hell the other guy was doing and why they didn't know. But they came over, and one of them kind of knew how to use the machine. The other one was still getting trained on it. So he didn't know how to use the machine at all. He was being guided on what to do. But neither of them understood how to use the jacks to hold the pipe on into the machine.
Okay.
And it's essentially the Sumner jacks, right? And so I had to sit there and show them how to use the jacks and how they work to get the pipe level into the pipe cutting machine. And then they couldn't quite figure out how to get the jaws for the cutter clamped down properly on the pipe. So I had to show them how to do that.
Wow.
And then they were trying to do it, and the guy was like, you just got to turn it harder, because it was like an Acme thread style thing. You just turn it to get the cutter to go into the pipe, which cuts the pipe as it's rotating.
Yes.
And they couldn't get that. I was like, no, you just got to go harder. Like, just turn it harder. That's the only way this works. And he goes, I don't know if I could turn it much harder. And I was like, well, then you need to grow some muscles. Like, I was like, I'm tired of waiting. And so finally, his buddy, the guy that knows how to use the machine, came over and took over and just turned it harder. Got the pipe cut. So after 45 minutes in Home Depot, I got a pipe cut. So I was like walking in to get the breakers. I know that they're behind a lock door. So on our way in, I asked somebody, hey, can you call somebody over to the breakers down aisle 5? Because I need to get some out of there. They're like, okay. They called somebody. 15 minutes goes by. Nobody comes. And I'm just like, I'm not going to wait I'm not going to do another 45-minute Home Depot trip for an item I know I need. I know it's right here. And then I realized as I was looking at the items that I didn't look and see what style breaker I needed. So I was like, you know what? We're just leaving.
Yeah.
Go back home. So by the time I got back home, the power was already back on. So it was about a 30-minute trip. And went and looked at the breaker, and I needed the one with the pigtail. So I left the secretary and the kiddo there, went back to Home Depot, picked up the correct breaker. And that time I walked in and said, hey, can you call somebody down to the aisle? And there was somebody waiting for me when I got there.
Wow.
I was impressed that time.
Yeah.
So,
a lot of times when I go to a big hardware store like that, I ask the person to come to the area, and then I ask for what I need.
Okay.
Like, hey, I need some help in this area or whatever. And then like, can you come and help me? And they'll like go, and they're like, hey, I need this. Like, I need these ropes cut. Can you cut these ropes?
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, and they're like, no, I'm not trained on it. I'm like, okay, well, can you call somebody? And then can you wait with me to make sure that they come?
Yeah.
So then they're having to spend their time waiting.
Yeah.
And then it's funny how fast
that
works or how much that works, because I'll be like, are they on their way? And they'll try to leave. Like, sorry, I've got stuff to do. I'm like, no, can you wait?
Yeah.
Because
I got stuff to do too.
I have stuff to do also, and I want to make sure this person comes, and I don't want to have to go and try to find you again.
Yeah.
To make sure that this person is going to show up. So if you hang out here, you'll make sure that person comes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, I've got stuff to do. I'm like, well, that person's not here yet. So can you call them again? And I was like, how long do I have to wait for you to wait? There's this whole argument that happens, but they end up calling like 3 times in 5 minutes, usually. Like, hey, I'm having to stand with a customer until you show up.
Yep.
Can you get over here?
That's a good strategy. I haven't tried that one. I do try and like have them come over with me, and they're like, oh no, that's not my department. Somebody else is going to come over. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I stop arguing with them from there.
That bothers me. I don't know why they just don't have somebody that lives in the heart, or like the fastener section.
Right.
Like, why don't they have, like, there is one person dedicated to that specific aisle, and he never leaves.
Yeah.
Because there's time I go in there and I'm like, hey, I need some help in hardware or fasteners. And they're like, okay, we'll call somebody. I'm like, why is there, like, that is probably 80% of their questions is that one aisle.
Yep.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know. I try to almost never go to a big box hardware store.
Yeah.
Just because it's not worth it. There's a local Ace by me, and there's a dude standing at the door when you walk in going, can I help you with anything? And you're like, I've got a question on fasteners. And he walks back there with you to help you find whatever it is you need. And you're like, I need a grade 5 3/8. And they're like, oh, we don't have it. But at least I'm not looking for a while, or whatever it is. Like, I need a 8-foot extension cord. Okay, right over here. Let me show you where.
Yeah.
That's the service I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want out of a big box store, but they can't afford it.
Yeah, they can't afford it. Like, I don't necessarily want a personal shopper, but I don't want to have to go hunting for somebody to get into the items that I do need, because I know my way around Home Depot pretty well right now.
Sure.
And I know I know what I need, where stuff is, but the problem is when it's locked and you can't access it or anything, you need to have the employees available to unlock those for your customers. Yeah. Like, I get it. You want to lock them for theft issues. I get that. Totally go for it.
Yes.
But don't make your customers wait around for 45 minutes.
Right. Yeah. And there's times when I walk into the Ace, and I go, nope, I'm good. I know exactly what I need.
Yep. Yeah, true.
And I just walk past the guy.
Yeah.
Right. That if you're fine, you're fine. But if there's something, like I need a weird pipe that does this. Oh, you know what? I walked in the other day. I'm like, do you have one of those things that I can screw into a light bulb socket that has a plug on it?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he's like, I do. It's right over here.
Sweet.
And I'm like, perfect. And then he leads you to the area, and he goes, they're right here. Like, I'm gonna go back. Let me know if you have any additional questions. Right?
Yeah.
He takes you to where it is, then you can do your research and look at it.
Yeah.
And that's what I does. That's the customer service that I need to do.
There you go. There you go, Home Depot.
Yes.
We'll
and
take
Lowe's and whatever other big box places that are out there.
Yeah. Oh, man.
All right, rant over
this time. So, I went home, shut off the power, and then swapped out the breaker, and everything's been running great ever since then. Let's see. Also, Saturday, before it got hot, so early in the morning before I went to Home Depot, We came by the warehouse. I dropped off the Lance and the deck over trailer at the warehouse. So now I have the truck back to race car mode.
You mean it wasn't before?
I mean, it kind of was. It wasn't quite as peppy. It's amazing how peppy that truck is unloaded.
I bet.
So got it back into race car mode. And then I also started troubleshooting the 4Runner.
More.
So
there wasn't you didn't start troubleshooting.
Yeah, fair.
I've continued to troubleshoot the 4Runner.
Yeah. So a new thing kind of popped back up.
Oh yeah.
I went out to check on the 4Runner and the battery was dead.
Uh-oh.
And so I did a couple of continuity checks, and it seemed like I was getting continuity between the load on my sub fuse box, my sub panel, and ground. I was like, that's not good. That means we have a short somewhere, right? And so I'm not sure what's going on, but I recharged the battery and put it back in Saturday morning, and the battery is still at full as of today, and it's Tuesday. So I think what happened was I was an idiot and left my APRS radio on from Fordyce.
Maybe.
I didn't turn it off, and so just pinging at 50 watts eventually killed the battery.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's happening, but I'm still confused about the continuity check because according to the continuity check, the battery should be dead now, and it's not. It's at full battery right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I got to look into that more. I put the hood back on, the 4Runner, so it kind of looks more like a vehicle again.
Did we ever talk about that? I know that you told me.
I think we did, because I've had a couple people now reach back out, because we talked about all the different temperature checks and finding ways to now check my temperature reading devices to see which ones are telling the truth.
But I don't think we did you ever say that you drove around with the hood off?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And it didn't change.
No change. No difference. So I put the hood back on. I Loctited the bolts in the screws in my steering wheel.
Good.
So it doesn't rattle around anymore. The drive shaft. Oh, I did not get those new bolts for Hussman yet. Let me add that to my list real quick.
Sounds good.
But there are bolts in my drive shaft.
Okay, good.
I do have 4-wheel drive right now.
Oh, that's impressive. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah. I think what I'm going to end up doing with the cooling system is I have had a couple people now write in and say, yes, your air conditioning system does put that much stress on your motor. And so, especially with the condenser just gets super hot. And it's just getting really hot air getting into your radiator before the radiator has a chance to cool anything. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is putting the mechanical fan back on and finding a way to fit a shroud to the mechanical fan, because the engine is not in the same position as it typically would be. So I got to find a way to build a shroud and put a mechanical fan back in. If that doesn't work, then I'll be relocating the condenser.
Got it.
And we'll see if that works.
Yeah, I think step one is, well, I guess it's already proven. If you drive around without the air conditioner on, you have no problems.
Seems to be just fine. Yep.
So it's a matter of the air conditioner. So, yeah, you either need to relocate the condenser, or you need to find a way to pull more air through, or you need to relocate the radiator. Yeah.
I've had a couple people reach out about some 14-inch electric two-stage electric fans.
Okay.
That have like a low setting that's just always on, and then a high setting that comes on
when
if it gets hot or something like that. And I looked into the fans, and it seems like those the biggest output electric fan I can find is about 21 to 2300 CFM, and that's what mine is currently. It's a 16-inch, 18-inch. 2300 CFM fan. So those dual stages fans are only like 2100 CFM. So I'm like, I can't imagine having a dual stage fan is going to be any better than my current fan.
Yeah. That dual stage though is, and I don't know if this is the issue mainly, but it's running when yours is not.
It'll be running, all the time.
But the problem is when yours gets hot,
Mhm.
yours pulls more air.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe you try to just have yours immediately turn on when you turn the vehicle on and see if it solves the problem.
Maybe by keeping it
always
cooler
keeping it
earlier.
cooler.
I don't know. Because you have your thermostat still. I mean, I don't know. Mechanical fans pull something like 3,500 CFM.
Oh, wow.
So they do pull quite a bit more air than electric fans. So we'll try that and see if that makes enough difference to have that much more airflow.
Okay.
And if not, then I'll be moving to the condenser, I think.
Yep.
So that's the overheating. That's all the work I really did on the 4Runner. It just got too hot too early. By like 10 a.m., it was 95 outside.
I know.
So I was like, I'm dead.
Unbearable.
Yeah.
I don't know how people in Arizona do it.
They don't. They go back up to Canada for
That's right.
with the summer.
They don't. They do winter wheeling.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's like normally we open our windows at night and we'll run the whole house fan.
Mm-hmm.
And this last week, I got up at like 3 a.m, and at that point it was just below where we set the air conditioner.
Holy crap! At
And
3 in the morning.
Should I even open up from like of 3 a.m. to like 7
Mm-hmm.
is all that it would be cooler and only a few degrees.
Yeah.
And then it starts warming up above where we set our AC.
Yeah.
So it's just stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the last week during the heat wave, the one night the coolest it got was like 87 degrees at like 5 a.m. or something like that. I was like, that's nuts.
Yeah. That was probably the night that we didn't open up at all. Yeah, it was pretty wild. So I didn't do a whole lot in regards to working in the shop at all because it was just so hot.
Yeah.
And, with the mini assistant and the assistant being on vacation, there's no waking up early anymore, unfortunately, which I need to figure out that. I need to figure my sleeping situation out with everybody, the family. Just because, and bluntly speaking, the assistant doesn't sleep very well. She has sort of like, what's it, not narcolepsy.
That's sleeping
that's
really
the opposite.
well.
Yeah. And insomnia.
Yeah.
She has like a mild insomnia.
Okay.
And I think it's just her mind. Like, I think it's really comes down to, and I'm sure like a lot of people have come across this, that like when you wake up in the middle of the night and then your mind starts running and then you just can't fall back to sleep.
Yep. That's
her problem.
That's the secretary's problem.
Yeah. And so the problem that falls onto me is I'm not supposed to wake her. Like if she's asleep, I shouldn't, like, I can't wake her because then she's going to wake up and then her mind's going to run and she's not going to fall back to sleep.
Yeah.
Right. And so I feel bad going to sleep after her.
Yeah.
Right. Like staying up later and working until midnight or whatever it is, because then when I get into bed, I might wake her. When I feel bad if I wake up at 6 a.m. and I have to have an alarm go off to wake me up and get out of bed because that wakes her up. She gets out of bed. And so I'm in a very odd situation in that, but that's something I have to figure out with my family. But that's one of the reasons I was not waking up super early, going into the shop and doing some work. But let's see. So 4th of July sort of just happened.
Oh yeah.
It was a little bit ago. I went down to the Monterey.
You still have all your fingers?
I still have all my fingers and toes. Yep. That was a positive. No banana man. And we went down to Monterey where it was a high of 77.
That's a lot better than here.
Dude, it was so nice. It was almost cold to get in the pool.
Oh, wow.
Right? It was funny. So, yeah, but we still all got in the pool. I was the only one that brought fireworks down. They were allowed to have fireworks, but he lives kind of up in a rural area, and it's dry up there. So they didn't buy any fireworks, but we kind of found a good safe spot to throw some fireworks out and give the kids some sparklers and let them run around. And the mini assistant was writing things on the asphalt.
Oh,
with a sparkler. Like it would off gas this like white smoke, and she was able to write on the asphalt with it. I was like, I've never seen that before. That's cool. So she did something that I've never seen before. So that was pretty fun. We drank a bunch, played with fireworks, went swimming, had some good barbecue. My buddy made these like pork like burnt pork ends that are like super sweet and caramelized. And oh man, I tried to give one to the assistant, but she didn't want it. Silly vegetarians.
Oh man.
Yeah. So we did that, but that was really nice to get out of the heat. So that was Thursday was 4th of July. Friday we had to give the mini assistant up to the outlaw or the ex-husband.
Yeah.
And he has her now for the week.
Okay.
So this for the last few days, she's been gone. So that's sad around the house. It's not as lively, but it is always nice to have some kind of more alone time, personal time. So instead of having to worry about what to entertain the child the entire time.
Yeah.
So that's fun. That reminds me, I need to do Duolingo because she does Duolingo, and I need to keep her streak going. She's at like almost a full year. She's like 250 some odd days.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. So, so this week it's cooling down. I'm planning on doing a little bit of work on the on Samantha to some extent, but this weekend we're going camping. This weekend we're going camping, but the fridge is dead. My fridge is gone. We tried a few weeks ago I tried to use it, and it was not. When I went camping with her family up at Shasta, the last day, it was not able to keep things cold.
Okay.
And then this trip down to my buddy's house, we used the fridge to try and keep the drinks cold and things cold as we drove down, right? And we plugged it into the car, getting power, could not bring the temperature down below 50 in the fridge. Yeah, so that was sort of a bummer. And then I brought the battery pack into the house and tried to futzed with it, and eventually it got down to 32.
Okay.
Nothing in it.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
And then when we drove home, it was already at 32, but by the time we got home, it was back up at 50.
With stuff in it?
With stuff in it.
Yeah.
So fridge is officially dead.
Yeah.
I want to tear it apart a little bit and try to see if I can clean stuff out. Maybe it's just filthy in there and it can't get the airflow that it needs.
So they operate similar to air conditioning systems in cars, right?
Yeah.
It's a compressor with a condenser and an evaporator.
Yep.
So it's possible the coils on the condenser got all mucked up and dirty, and you just need to clean them out.
Absolutely. Yeah, it could just be, or the condenser could be all clogged or whatever. Yeah, so I was gonna look that up, look into that a little bit, play around with it. But I'm already in talks with Iron Man 4x4.
Oh, nice.
It's shocking. They have a new fridge out.
Oh, no.
Well, first of all, shocking. They have fridges.
Yeah.
Second of all, they have a new fridge released.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool because they have they have one older one that it looks more like an ARB where it's all plastic and then has like the door that opens from the front to the back.
Yep.
Long ways. And that everything that I use my fridge for is I want the long side to be the hinge. Does that make sense?
Correct. Yeah.
I don't want the short side to be a hinge.
Yeah. So you don't want it to open long ways. You want it to open across the top
widthwise.
Widthwise, yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Kind of hard to explain. Yeah. I want it to open horizontally, not vertically, or whatever. So, but their old version only opens vertically. Their new version opens horizontally.
Nice.
It's really nice. It looks clean. The only thing I don't like about it, for me, which it's just the way I pack, is the gauge and control unit is down low on the fridge.
Yeah.
It's near the bottom. But it has a Bluetooth setup.
That's
so
nice,
I can pull it. I can use my phone primarily.
Yeah.
If I want, when I'm ever out and about, which actually would be really nice because I've had times when I've been driving and I'm like, is the fridge on? Like I haven't heard it in a while. And I would have to stop, which isn't an issue when we're out rock crawling. But if I'm on a road trip, like either somebody needs to crawl over the back, see if the fridge is on or whatever. But if I have it on my phone, I can just pull it up and see if it's on or not.
Yep.
So that would be kind of cool. So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, because I messaged them on Monday. Actually, I messaged them Sunday night, and I got a response 4 a.m. on Monday from Fritz with a start a conversation, and I'm hoping that I will have a fridge before this weekend.
Nice.
We'll see we'll see. It'll be amazing if they can pull this off.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that'll be good. I did also see that Brennan just showed off a bunch of IceCo fridges on his Trail 4Runner.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't get one, I'm just gonna drive up to his house and steal one of his.
And take one.
Yeah, because I think he showed off like 3.
Oh, geez.
I don't know. Like I think they have new versions or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I might steal one of his for the weekend. See how that goes.
Nice.
That's really about it. On Sunday, I did some work at the theater where the mini assistant does theater. We're building a set, and I find it real fun to use your hands and help out. And it's Sweeney Todd, I think is the one. It's about a barber that murders people.
Yeah, I was gonna say the scissor barber hand
It's
guy.
not Edward Scissorhands, but I don't know if he has scissors on his head. I've never seen this one, and it's not like we can take the mini assistant to it because he murders like 5 people in the show. But yeah, so we were working on the barber chair to kind of slide to take the people out, sort of a thing. So we were working on this barber chair that rotates to a hatch with the barber chair that like kind of angles and like will
slides people out of the chair through the hatch.
Drop people down into the hatch.
That's cool.
Once they're dead. So that was fun. And then apparently everybody there is scared of heights, so I was the only one up on like the scaffolding, like 10 to 12 feet up in the air, like attaching hardware and lights and whatever. So it was good. It was fun. It's fun to help out. It's fun to volunteer and support. And
I always enjoyed. We've talked about this before. I always enjoyed set design in theater.
Yeah,
you have to get really creative with how to do sets in a way that makes it feel and seem realistic, but a lot of times you're having to do stuff that's like mainly designed for like movie magic stuff.
Yeah,
and you're having to pull it off.
Yeah.
in real life, in real time. And something that the actors know how to use and do.
Right.
So
100%.
Yeah,
there's literally this huge box where like the kids are gonna slide down, like once they get murdered, they're sliding down into the big box. But then they rotate it, and one side is an oven, and they're like, have something with that. And then they rotate it, and it's a storefront. And then they rotate it, and it's like somebody's house and a staircase. And then they rotate it, and it's the barbershop thing. And so it's like these 4 sides, and every side has something interaction to the rest of the stage. Yeah. So it's really neat. It's fun. And another thing that I like about it is there's some level of carpentry, but most people are sitting so far away from the stage that you don't have to be 100% accurate.
That is true. You can have very wide tolerances.
Yeah, you can have decent tolerances. So there's things that are a little far beyond, but there's a little things that like I was like measuring things out to like 16ths, and they're like, don't worry about it. Like you don't need to be that precise.
You're within 2 inches. We're good.
It's less than that. It's like an eighth. Like they want it like they don't want more than like an 1/8 inch gap.
Okay.
And one of the things that they do, it's kind of funny, is like if there's a bad gap, then they just put like duct tape over it.
Duct tape, yeah.
And then they can paint over it to make it the scene, and you'll never notice.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, okay. Like I guess all the screws we put in, they put a little patch of duct tape over it and then paint over it. Yeah, it's kind of funny. So it's kind of bizarre going from like a 4-link suspension that is super precise and you have to lay out a very specific way to very rough carpentry building something
and duct taping over
gaps and filling things with some caulking or whatever. But yeah, the guy that built the actual box that's going to have a few kids standing on top of it is a legit carpenter.
Okay,
he
that's
knew
good.
he built it to the specs of a house.
Yeah,
just because they knew that there was going to be like 2 or 3 kids that are 150 to 200 pounds standing on top of this thing.
Yeah,
they didn't want people falling through. I even walked over the hatch, and the hatch does not move.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's really fun. So that's pretty much what I did. Yeah, we went out of town for 4th of July. Saw some college friends, had some drinks, and built a set.
Cool.
And I think that's really about it for the most part. My hops are growing great. Just to throw that out there. Yeah.
Nice. I did get to do let's talk about it here. I got to talk to a really cool company that we found out at P&W Expo.
Okay.
They are packed, PACT,
Okay.
toiletries, essentially.
Oh.
So what they do is they make it easy and fun and safe and environmentally friendly to go poop outdoors, because human waste is toxic. And so they are a company native to Colorado.
Okay.
So they have a lot of hikers and backpackers in Colorado.
Absolutely.
It's one of the most active states in the United States. And there's a lot of issues with white flowers in Colorado.
Yes.
So they're really like, it's very impressive. Talking with one of the owners, they're doing studies right now in Colorado, all funded and backed by Forest Service and state, for proving that if you set up infrastructure in outdoor recreation areas, people use it.
Wow.
It's an amazing concept, right?
Wild, yeah.
Which is one of the big gripes that we had here in Northern California during COVID, was the Forest Service would shut down all the designated campgrounds and tell people, no, you have to go dispersed camping. You cannot use the campgrounds. And I'm like, that's stupid. People are just going to trash the forests. At least with the campgrounds, we can keep all the trash in one spot and know where it is.
Right.
And they're like, nope, we don't have the people to manage the campground, so we're not going to leave them open. You have to go dispersed camping. And our forests got trashed during COVID. And I was like, no, infrastructure is good. We as people, as a human species in a society, if you set up the infrastructure, people will use it.
100%.
And so they're actually doing studies on this concept right now in Colorado. And PACT is spearheading the toilet side of it.
Okay.
And so if you provide people with wag bags and wag bag stations, they haven't started the studies yet because they finished up the development on their wag bags, and they are about to roll out their wag bags. So now they'll be able to start the studies for wag bag stations at trailheads.
Cool.
And so the goal is the state of Colorado, as well as some of the Forest Service in Colorado, are going to back the funding to run these studies. That are hopefully going to prove that if you set up wag bag stations, people will take wag bags from the trailhead, use them on the trail, and then dump them back off at a dumpster or trash station at the trailhead on their way back out.
Yes.
Concept seems very sound, but will people actually do it?
I don't know.
I think they will.
I think it will take a while.
Yeah, I think it'll take a while to become a norm, but I think that if the structure is there for a whole station to grab a wag bag and drop it off when you're done, I think people will end up using it.
Yeah. Maybe it's just me and being a backpacker that has really kind of become more of an off-roader.
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to wag bags.
Yeah.
Like wag bags aren't an issue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't fray from them. I'm not scared of them.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's like, I packed it in and I'm packing it out, and that includes all the dirty stuff.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right. And that is from my backpacking side, right? That's like, you're up a lot of times. Some of the things I'm up at elevation that it's never going to decompose.
Yeah.
It's not, it freezes like the majority of the year up there, and it's never going to decompose. So you can't leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And a lot of times, you dig a hole, you cover it, and some creature comes by and will still smell it and will uncover it.
Yep.
So for me, wag bags is not an issue. Yeah, you pack it in, you carry a few wag bags with you. You're out for a few days, you go to the bathroom, you put it in a bag, you still carry it.
Mm-hmm.
You still have to carry it, whether it's in you or in the bag.
Yep.
For some reason, it feels like it weighs more in the bag,
Yeah.
but that's a different thing. And then you have to throw it away, and you can't throw it away in a trash.
So that's the cool thing about new wag bag technology, is that a lot of wag bags nowadays have a chemical composition in them that detoxifies the waste product.
Okay.
So you can end up just throwing it in the garbage.
Well, then that makes it even simpler.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that they're doing, is making sure that all their wag bags can be disposed of safely in a normal garbage environment.
Okay.
but they're also making their packaging kind of fun for the wag bags. It's kind of like a newspaper vibe, where they'll have articles with some different things that you can read and entertain yourself while you're doing your business.
Nice. I'll tell you the best wag bag I've ever had was a ranger station outside of Mount Shasta, and the packaging, like when you opened it all up and you went to go to the bathroom, the part that you would go to the bathroom on had a bullseye.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, and depending on what level of business you did, you could you could scatter the board or you could get a bullseye. So, but it was fun to be like, I got a perfect 10. I got I got the bullseye, or whatever. When you go back to chat with your friends or whatever, it's just like it was a fun piece of paper that was the bottom part of the wag bag.
Yeah. So I think there's cool ways to do wag bags and make outdoor business sustainable for humans so that we can continue enjoying our outdoor recreation. And so this company, I was really impressed. I didn't realize they were doing these studies. I just got in contact with them because I knew that they were coming out with their wag bags soon. Yeah. And I've always wanted to try and do wag bag stations at off-roading trailheads.
Yes.
So that people can, as they're going in a trail,
we've talked about this before.
On the way back out, drop it off at a trash can of some sort. And so I wanted to play around with this and see if we can get grant funding from the OHV grants in California to start setting up wag bag stations at trailheads. And so I contacted them mainly to talk about this and see, if they'd be open to doing discounted products from grant funding in order to go into these stations. And I went down this whole hour-long discussion with them about these studies that they've been doing in Colorado with they have a really cool, almost like a packed shovel with some, not freeze-dried, vacuum-sealed, vacuum-dried terry cloths, essentially, that are down. It's a 12 by 12 cloth that's in the size of a quarter, a nickel. Something like that. They have that, and then they have little mushroom fungus pellets that naturally break down human feces.
Wow.
And so you dig a hole with this little shovel that everything's packaged inside, do your business, and then you drop a couple drops of water from your water bottle onto this cloth, and then the cloth is completely decomposable, and you put that in, and you throw 3 or 4 of these pellets, little handful full of these mushroom pellets, fungus, down in the hole, and then cover it up, and the pellets will help decompose everything.
Okay.
Make everything safe.
So it's not a wag bag.
No, it's not. That's just one of the other products.
Okay.
So I was impressed with it so much and heard they were coming out with the wag bags, but they've already done studies with this other product.
Got it.
Showing that if people have them, they are way more likely to do business correctly in the outdoors.
Yes.
And so now they're doing studies with the wag bags. And so if all the studies go well and they get a proof that is from a study backed by the state of Colorado and the U.S. Forest Service, then I might be able to go in and have MORRFlate sponsor some grants in California to put wag bag stations at a bunch of trailheads in California.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I would not start with the Rubicon.
No, it'd be useless on the Rubicon because they have all the toilets.
Exactly.
So it'd be something for like Fordyce, Barrett Lake. Barrett Lake really needs something because the bathroom is... they need to make a new bathroom out there.
They need to move it.
They need to move it, is the ultimate thing. And until they move it, it's full, and people are not going to use it once it's full, and they're just going to start shitting all around the area at Barrett Lake.
Yeah. Slick Rock, Deer
Slick
Valley.
Rock would be another great one. All of them. There'd be
probably some Schaefer Lake trails. Yeah. I think that would be awesome. We've talked about it before, like almost literally standing out there and handing out wag bags.
Yeah.
And trying to figure that out just because it's a problem. I think Moab needs it.
Moab definitely needs it.
Yeah. There's a lot of white flowers in Moab. Yeah. Unfortunately. And that's so dry out there. I don't know how fast things decompose.
Not that fast.
No. Yeah. Unfortunately. So I think that's pretty cool. We'll definitely hear more about this, I think, in the future about what's going on. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a packed wag bag giveaway at some point.
It would be cool. They have some really sweet products. Not gonna lie, they're pretty awesome. So
yeah, I just wouldn't eat them.
No,
not that sweet.
Don't eat them. Not okay. Anyway, so that was our week.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what we've been up to. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, comments, any feedback for us, you can always call in. You can email us. You can get us on social media. We love hearing from you guys, though. The voicemail, we have a segment on Fridays that we do now where we get to listen to your voicemails and comment on them and kind of interact with you guys a little bit more. It's a really fun. It's turned into our favorite segment of the show. And so you guys can call in and leave us a voicemail at 916-345-4744. And then there's, like I said, emails, social media, all the good stuff, fun ways to get a hold of us. Jimmy Jet.
Yes.
Do you have final words, sage words of advice for everybody today?
I've been putting a lot of thoughts into redesigning this room.
And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
You do?
I do.
Okay. Let's hear yours while I'm looking mine up.
Okay. Do you know what type of swimsuit a sheep wears to the beach?
A sheep?
A sheep. It could be a goat, too, I guess.
Could be a goat?
Yeah.
Something to a bikini?
Bikini. Nice. You got it.
See, I'm good at these.
Yeah, you're warming up. I mean, you've had
I'm getting there.
4 months of practice.
Yes. I think it's been like 5 years of...
5 years of torture, but 4 years of dad.
Oh, that's
or 4
true.
months of dad.
Yeah.
So now you're into the 4 months of practice. And now this is where we're going to cut the video.
I got one for you.
Okay.
What's green and smells like pork? It's a riddle.
Boogers. Yeah, that's that works.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.